Alicia here with another lightened up Weight Watcher friendly recipe. And today's recipe is gonna be for caramel apple crisp pizza sticks. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I absolutely love the 2-ingredient dough. This is just another way to use the 2-ingredient dough. It's so versatile for so many things, well beyond pizza. Now, this is technically like pizza, dessert pizza, but I do have so many other recipes using this and I just love it so much. And this is a nice fall inspired dessert pizza or dessert breadstick that I did want to share with you guys because it's very easy to make, pretty low in points, and absolutely delicious. So let me jump into ingredients real quick and I'll show you what you're gonna need to make this. So first off, for your 2-ingredient dough, what you're gonna need for that is 1 cup self-rising flour. And then you're also gonna need about 1/8 cup to roll your dough out. I've got that factored into the recipe builder. And then you're also gonna need 1/4 cup for your crumble that you're gonna put on top, but 1 cup for the dough itself and then 1/8 to roll it out. And then also for the dough, you're gonna need some plain non-fat Greek yogurt, 3/4 cup of that. Here I've got 1 pound of Granny Smith apples. These are pretty small, but I weighed them out and they are right at 1 pound total. You can use whatever type of apple you want. I like to use the Granny Smith typically in this type of thing, but again, you're looking for 1 pound. Here I've got some rolled or old-fashioned oats. You're gonna need 1/2 cup of those for your topping or crumble. And then also for the crumble topping, you're gonna need a light butter spread. I'm just using this Brummelin Brown. This is my favorite. You're gonna need 3 tablespoons and you're gonna melt that. Next up, I've got some apple pie spice here. I do make my own. I'll put the recipe showing, or the video showing how I do this. You're gonna need 1/2 teaspoon of this for your apples and then 1 teaspoon for the crumble mixture that's going on top. You can also use cinnamon if you want instead of apple pie spice. That works well too. For sweeteners today, I'm gonna be using the Lakanto Monkfruit Golden. I'm gonna be using 1/2 cup of this in my crumble topping. And then for my apples, I'm gonna be using 1 tablespoon of the classic. For the caramel part of this, I'm gonna be using some of this Smucker Sundae syrup. This is sugar-free. I like this stuff. It is kind of hard to find. I usually buy mine in the summer, to be honest, because it seems like come fall time, it's hard to find, but I do get this at Walmart, just so you know. But this, I'm going to be using 4 tablespoons of. And then finally, I've got a little bit of olive oil here. I'm gonna be spritzing this on my dough before I bake it. I've got factored in 1/2 teaspoon. It's probably not gonna be that much, but you do need a little bit of olive oil to spritz on the dough. And that is it for this. Not very many ingredients, really simple. Let me get it started. So first thing for the dough, in a medium-sized bowl here, you're gonna add in your 1 cup self-rising flour and your 3/4 cup Greek yogurt. And then you're gonna just stir the 2 of these together until they start to form a dough. And I like to say that that Fage yogurt, I think, is the best yogurt for this dough that I've found. Every time I make this dough, it is a little bit different. It all just kind of depends on the moisture content of your yogurt, humidity, all kinds of things. So it comes out different every time, but the yogurt that I found works the best for it is that Fage. So anyway, I'm gonna keep stirring this. As you can see, it's starting to kind of crumble together. I'm gonna keep stirring it, and then I'll probably get my hands in there and work it a little bit to get it to a more dough-like consistency. Got this pretty much ready to be kneaded now. As you can see, it's looking like dough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it out of the bowl here, put down a little bit of flour, and again, I factored in 1/8 cup to roll this out. And this time I'm probably not even gonna need that much, but I like to knead my dough for a good, probably 3 to 5 minutes. And that just seems to produce the best result with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and knead this for, like I said, 3 to 5 minutes, and then I will be back. I've kneaded this dough for just about 5 minutes and it is looking how I want it to look. Nice and pliable. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to roll this out to fit this cookie sheet. It's about 13 by 9. So I'm gonna take just a little bit more flour, and I really didn't need hardly any to knead that out. And I'm gonna roll this out to the approximate shape of that cookie sheet. This dough is real pliable though, so I've just gotta get it somewhat close, and then I will fit it in there the best that I can. I got this pretty close to where I want it. So now I'm gonna take my cookie sheet here, I'm gonna spritz it with a little bit of olive oil. And then I'm gonna lay my dough on it. And I'm gonna kind of stretch it in here to get it to fit a little better. Again, this stuff is really pliable, easy to work with. You can pretty much stretch it to whatever shape you want. You could also do this in just a pizza pan if you wanted to, but I like to do kind of more of the stick instead of the pizza slice. So I like to put it in a cookie sheet. I've also got my oven preheating right now to 425. So we can pop this in once I've got it in here, which it's in here pretty good. So now I'm gonna take that olive oil spritzer again, spritz the top of this. And the purpose of this is just to, when you bake it, that olive oil kind of creates a seal so that this crust or dough doesn't get soggy when you put the toppings on. So now I'm going to put this in my preheated oven at 425 for about 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, just to get this started in the baking process. Like I said, to get or create a nice little seal for the toppings for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven, and then we will start on the apple part. Okay, so for the apples, I've got them nice and washed up. I thought I was recording, I was not. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting these up, and then I'm gonna core them, and then I'm gonna just chop them. I'm not gonna peel them. You absolutely can if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I always say that in my recipes. It just kind of depends on the mood I'm in. With most of the apple things I'm making, whether I peel them or not. This time, like I said, I'm not going to. So I'm gonna just chop them into fairly small pieces. Like that. So I'm gonna do that with the rest of these, and then I'll be back. I've got these all chopped up, so now I'm gonna take them over to my stove. And there is my dough. I just let that bake for 5 minutes in there, so I'm gonna just let it rest while I'm working on the apples. In the saucepan here, medium size, on medium high heat, I'm gonna add in my apples. And to those, I'm gonna sprinkle a tablespoon of that Lakanto Classic and a half teaspoon pumpkin pie spice or cinnamon. Add a little bit of stir, and I'm gonna just cook these in here for probably about 5 to 7 minutes until they start to soften. And while these are cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and start on my crumble mixture. So for the crumble, in a small bowl, I'm gonna be adding in a 1/4 cup self-rising flour, 1/2 cup rolled oats, 1/2 cup Lakanto Golden or brown sugar alternative of your choice, teaspoon apple pie spice, and 3 tablespoons of your melted butter spread. And you're gonna just mix all of that together really well. All right, that is looking good. So I'm gonna set that aside and see if my apples are ready. My apples have been cooking more like probably 10 minutes, maybe even 12, a little longer than what I thought it took. That being said, I don't typically time myself when I'm cooking, so sometimes I get the times wrong, but these are softened up enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and take them over and then assemble all this together. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my apples and I'm gonna just kind of pour them on top here as evenly as I can. My crust has shrunk a little bit, and that tends to happen with that 2-ingredient dough. But I'm still gonna kind of just take it mostly to the edges here. Now that I've got the apple on there, I'm gonna sprinkle on, I'm just gonna do this with my hands because it's easier. I'm gonna sprinkle on my crumble mixture as evenly as I can. And now this is ready to go in the oven at 425 for, I'm gonna start it off at 15 minutes. It takes about 15 to 20, but I will be back once it is done. Okay, I let this bake 15 minutes. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my caramel sauce, I'm gonna weigh that out or measure that out, and then I'm gonna put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds just to kind of thin it out a little bit so it will pour on easier, but I'm gonna do that and then I will be back to finish this off. Got my caramel nice and melted, so it'll go on a little easier. Now I'm gonna just pour this on as evenly as I can. Okay, these are ready to cut up. I went ahead and just slid this out on a cutting board. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut down the center. And then I'm gonna do 6 cuts across to get 12. You can make these bigger or smaller, however you want them. I've got them factored in the recipe builder at 12, so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, I've got these all sliced up into 12 individual sticks. Those are gonna be per stick 3 points, 3 WW points, I should say. I'll go see if I can grab my hubby to tell you what these taste like. They smell so good. Very, very good. Another great way, like I said, to do the 2-ingredient dough. But anyway, I'll go grab him so he can give you his little taste test. All right, go ahead.
Look at that.
Yep.
Who wouldn't buy that in some sort of bakery or coffee shop?
They are yummy. And in case you didn't know, that is the 2-ingredient dough. Hey, that rhymed. I love it when that happens. Another great use for the 2-ingredient dough. That stuff is so versatile.
Man, I don't know what to say about that other than it's really good.
Don't know what to say? Are you Are you speechless?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the crisps. I don't know, back in elementary school they had crisps at lunch.
Did they?
Yeah. The caramel, it's just really, you know, it's a dessert, right?
Yeah, it's dessert, breadsticks, dessert pizza, however you want to call it. I don't know.
I mean, it's exactly what you think it is.
Tastes exactly like what you think?
Yeah. You got the cinnamon and the apple and the caramel.
Apple crisp on a breadstick.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh-huh.
You think it's worth 4 points? Or 4 points, 3 points.
Mm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. That was caramel apple crisp pizza sticks. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.